Thanks, folks. Excellency, mayors, reeves, councillors, representatives of the banks, our companies and agencies across the GTA. I must say it's wonderful this morning to hear the confidence expressed by all of our speakers. I won't give in to the temptation to make partisan comments, but too often these days, particularly in the House of Commons and in the Senate, there is a tendency to talk down our economy for possible, if not probable, potential political gain. Despite the devastating impact of this downturn, despite the loss of wealth, of jobs, of savings, our government, as Tony explained, does have a plan. It is working and it will work. This recession will end. We don't know precisely when, but there will be a recovery. And I think that a key part of that recovery is going to be confidence, and the confidence that can be instilled in our population by all of you here in this room today. It's a great pleasure to be here among so many of the people who make the GTA the powerhouse that it is in Canada's economy. I have no doubt that the banks, the companies, the agencies and governments represented here today will play key roles as Canada's metropolis helps lead the way back. Your efforts are appreciated. And as I say, they'll be critical as we move forward in helping communities, one by one, get through the economic crisis. Earlier, Minister Clement told you about what our government is doing to help Canada's economy recover, but building new international trade and investment links must be part of the solution as well. Globalization is not going away, despite the efforts of some. We have to resist those voices in Parliament and in our communities and workplaces who want to turtle. We have to keep markets open, and we have to make sure that they are used. We have to continue creating new opportunities for our firms and our investors to prosper in markets at home and around the world. As you know, our government's been moving forward on an aggressive agenda to open doors for Canadian businesses and investors abroad. Our global commerce strategy focuses on a wide range of tools, from free trade agreements, which I'll talk about in a moment, to boosting the services that we offer to Canadian businesses around the world, to innovation and to investment partnerships, and deepened relationships with our neighbors here in this hemisphere. As a country of the Americas, Canada is committed to playing a larger role in the region, and in doing so for the long term. Our current and future interests are increasingly interdependent. In this time of global financial crisis, there's no time to be complacent or to withdraw. Our future demands that we work together to weather the storm and to emerge stronger than ever. Our Prime Minister has made a personal commitment to work toward a more prosperous, democratic and secure hemisphere. He created the position, which I now hold, with a specific focus on the Americas to give Canada a new voice in dialogue with our neighbors. As Minister of State for Foreign Affairs for the Americas, I'd like to focus my remarks today on how we're strengthening partnerships across Latin America and the Caribbean. We all know that greater prosperity can't take hold without security, or without the freedoms and laws brought about by democratic governance. And democracy can't function without personal security and the chance to improve living standards through increased business opportunities. Our commitment to increasing prosperity and open markets in a manner that also protects human rights, the democratic process, and collective security can show people in the Americas that democracy can deliver more than just elections. The global financial crisis has hit all of our nations hard, some harder than others, and Canada's provided leadership internationally in encouraging free trade and open markets and discouraging other countries from slipping back to protectionism. We are working to ensure our neighborhood's prosperity gains are not lost. Just last weekend at the Summit of the Americas, the Prime Minister announced a substantial contribution toward strengthening the resources of the international financial institutions, working to temporarily increase the Inter-American Development Bank's lending capacity by an additional $4 billion, effectively doubling Canada's commitment in the Americas. All of this, of course, in response to the financial crisis and to the need of some of our neighbors. It is support of the IDB which will, we believe, help the countries and provide countries in the region with the additional access to credit to promote economic growth, which is, of course, an essential element of economic recovery. This strong stance against protectionism and in favor of further liberalization is bringing benefits already not only to the region of the Americas, but to our economy, even in this downturn, at a time when we need these benefits more than ever. There are almost 70 Latin American and Caribbean diaspora organizations across Canada, and many of the recent Latin American and Caribbean immigrants are proud to call, as you know, Toronto home. Latin America and the Caribbean are an important part of the Canadian fabric. They contribute to the rich and diverse social fabric of our multicultural society, something which Canada values greatly. But this importance also extends to trade and to investment. Canadian firms and investment dollars have a deep presence, as we've been reminded here again this morning, in Latin American and Caribbean markets. Last year, our two-way trade in merchandise grew to over $22 billion. And our investment ties are equally strong, with Canadian direct investment in the region now worth, depending on the market day to day, nearly $132 billion at the end of 2008. And I just point out that that's more than 5 times Canadian direct investment in Asia. Canadian companies are currently among the largest investors in Latin America and the Caribbean, led by the financial services and extractive industries. And both of those groups are highly regarded right across the region. It is fast becoming an important source of foreign direct investment into Canada as well. But at the same time, it's important not to view the hemisphere through a single lens. From the resource-rich Andes to the vast agricultural lands of the Southern Cone, to the well-developed tourism and financial services industry in the Caribbean and Central America, the region has a true diversity of opportunities and challenges for Canadian firms. Working in close consultation with businesses, industry representatives, and academics, we've developed market plans. We are targeting key sectors where we think that Canadian firms can make big gains and have substantial positive local economic impacts in the region. These include, and many of you in the room will already be aware, they include building products and construction, electric power equipment and services, environmental industries, information and communications technology, and oil and gas equipment and services.